Hello, what's going on, guys? It's Future Neoenthusi here, and I just wanted to give a quick intro on the fact that this is going to be part 2 of my top 50 roller coasters. Part 1 included coasters 50 through 26, and this is going to include 25 through 1, and obviously that means there's going to be a lot better rides here. There's going to be a lot more for me to talk about, so if you like what you see, make sure to like and subscribe after the video, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Alright, this one might be a little bit confusing for some people, but at number 25, I have Nighthawk down at Carowinds. This is actually the original flying coaster, so to speak, a Flying Dutchman from Vekoma. Opened at California's Great America, I believe, in 2000, and then was moved to Carowinds around 2004-ish. And the reason this thing ranks above Superman for me is, even if it might not be as totally smooth as a B&M flying coaster, it's still pretty smooth, but it has way better layout in my opinion. A vertical loop on your back is almost as forceful as a pretzel loop, and it also has a couple corkscrews at the end, a couple moves where you go from flying to laying on your back, and overall just a very disorienting, intense experience, and it's going to come in at number 25, sorry. Alright, now that we've broken into our top 25, we're getting into some really good coasters here. Coming at number 24 is going to be Afterburn at Carowinds. This is a smaller B&M invert, to be honest, but what it lacks in size, it makes up for in intensity again. That last corkscrew on it is definitely up there with some of the fastest, whippiest inversions on any invert in general, and it also just has a lot of positive forces that make you gray out throughout the ride, so yeah, this is a coaster I definitely wouldn't miss if you're down at Carowinds. Comes in at number 24. Alright, we're going back in time a little bit as well for this one. Coming in at number 23, we have Steel Force over at Dorney. This is a Morgan Hyper coaster that opened in 2000, if I'm not mistaken, and it's almost as if Magnum was rebuilt with less jank transitions and just smooth those transitions out. Like if you hit the smooth transition button on Planet Coaster. It still has those airtime hills at the end that give great ejector, but they don't hit as harsh as Magnum, so if you don't like the jank and pain of Magnum, I would definitely check out Steel Force because it is, in my opinion, a slightly better coaster, and it comes in at 23. Alright, coming at number 22, we have our first Giga Coaster on the list, and it's going to be Millennium Force over at Cedar Point. This is the original Giga Coaster, of course, the first coaster to break 300 feet ever, and it's definitely a speed-focused ride. You have to focus on what this ride was built to be, and it is not for airtime or positives. I will say at the beginning of the first drop, or at the end of the first drop rather, it has a huge gray out moment for me personally. And the rest of the ride is speed-focused, and if you can accept it for what it is, you will find that this coaster is a lot better than most people give it credit for. So it comes in at 22 for me. Alright, coming in at number 21, we have an in-house wooden coaster down at Kings Island known as the Beast. It was also worked on by Charlie Din from the Din Corporation, so I guess you could kind of say it's a Din coaster. But this coaster is just so unique. The night ride makes it. There's not much more I need to say about this coaster because I've gone over it before on my channel, but ride this thing at night. That is what makes this coaster, and it comes in at 21 for me. Alright, coming in at number 20, we have another Kings Island coaster. This is going to be Banshee. This is currently my favorite B&M invert just because of how intense it is and how many inversions it has. And not to mention at the end, it has a pretty unique inversion for an invert with the inline twist that gives a ton of good hang time on this thing, guys. And if you ride this thing in the rain, it's even funnier because the water falling off the track turns it into a water ride. And it's honestly just, in every way possible, it outdoes every other invert I've ever been on. And I have not been on Montu, so we'll see how that adds up. But for now, this comes in at number 20 for me. Alright, going right back to Kings Island for number 19, we're going to have Mystic Timbers. This is a GCI wooden coaster that pretty much does everything that GCI knows how to do in its best way. GCI hit it out of the park with this design. The drop is amazing in the back row. Everything is amazing in every row, honestly. Even front row is amazing on this coaster. And yeah, it's just really whippy and goes into the woods, has a great night ride, and there's really no huge downside to Mystic Timbers besides the shed. And that really isn't the ride anyways, so it comes in at number 19. Alrighty guys, coming in at number 18, I have Jersey Devil Coaster over at Six Flags Great Adventure. This RMC single rail coaster is honestly just a ton of good fun and a small layout. I do think that this is one of the lower end RMCs just because I think their iBox hybrids are a little bit better than this. But it offers some good airtime, some good whip on the inversions in the back, and a really good first drop. So yeah, it comes in at number 18. Alright, coming in at number 17, I have Phantom's Revenge over at Kennywood in Pittsburgh. This is like it's mostly a Morgan coaster now, but it was built as an Aero custom looper, so the first drop is still an Aero coaster, but the rest of it was built by Morgan. And this thing has some of the most crazy ejector airtime you'll find on any steel coaster, and along with that, it has one of the most like freestyle, like free movement lap bars in the world, so it gives you really great airtime on a lot of those bunny hills toward the end of the ride. And the second drop into the valley is also crazy, so it comes in at number 17. Alright, coming in at number 16, I have Orion down at Kings Island. This is a B&M Giga Coaster, and while it may not be admittedly as good as Fury, in my opinion, it still is good in its own right. I think this coaster has a little bit better of a drop in general than Fury, but its layout is kind of short and lacks a little bit of like punch, if that makes sense, lacks a little bit of forces, but it's still a ride that I try to get on every time I go down to Kings Island, and it is amazing in the front row, so it comes in at number 16. Alright, coming in at number 15, I have Maverick over at Cedar Point. This Intamin launch coaster, blitz coaster, whatever you want to call it, is just honestly the perfect package. It has a launch lift hill, beyond a vertical drop, a great long layout with some laterals, a nice launch in the middle, and then some inversions even. And it doesn't do anything like specifically well, but it does everything generally well, if that makes sense. Kind of the unicorn of coasters in my opinion. So that's why it comes in at number 15. Alright, coming in at number 14, I have another Intamin. This is going to be Sky Rush over at Hershey Park. I will say, this coaster got a lot better once it got its new lap bars. I was not a fan of the old ones because the airtime did kind of hurt a little bit, but with the new restraints it got over the last off season, this thing got a lot better. And there's not much to say about it. The first drop is extremely intense going into that turn, and there's a ton of great airtime moments on this it has amazing restraints now, so you can get the full airtime experience, and that is why it comes in at number 14. Alright, coming in at number 13, I have Pantherian at King's Dominion, formerly known as Intimidator 305, and this is by far the better Intamin Giga in my opinion. It is very, very intense. This is the most intense roller coaster I have ever ridden by far. I gray out every single time on that first turn, and that is why it's fun. You speed around these high speed turns and you gray out, and you're having a great time with your friends, and that is truly why it comes into my top 15, is sitting at number 13. Alright, coming in at number 12, I have Phoenix over at Knoebels. This is probably my favorite wooden coaster. I think I have El Toro ranked a little bit higher than this to spoil it a little bit, but as of now that could change just because I love Phoenix and its buzz bars so much. The airtime you get on this would be good even without a buzz bar, but with the buzz bar you just fly out of your seat. I mean, you can see it in POV videos. You can see people flying out of their seat. Like, there's no other way to put it. The airtime on this is absolutely incredible, so it comes in at number 12. Alright, coming in at number 11, I have Copperhead Strike down at Carowinds. This is a Mack Rides launch coaster, and while the launches don't really have a lot of power, to be fair, this ride isn't about the launches. It's more about the hang time on the inversions and some of the airtime you get between those inversions. I think they did a great job with the layout and keeping it small, and I would almost say, like, if it didn't have the JoJo roll, it could really be like more of a family-oriented looping coaster, because it's not too intense and it offers more hang time and airtime than positives and just crazy intense inversions. So it comes in at number 11. Alright, coming in at number 10, I have Storm Runner over at Hershey Park. This is the first Intamin accelerator on the list, one of two that I've been on, and this one definitely has the more complete layout. I bet you can already guess what my other one is now that I've said that, but anyways, Flying Snake Dive, amazing. Top Hat, extremely forceful. Going up, it makes me gray out most times. And the acceleration on the launch is honestly unmatched. Like, going 0 to 72 in whatever it is, 1.8 seconds or whatever, is just insane. It has so much punch to it. So that's why it comes in at number 10 for me. Alright, and as I spoiled earlier, coming in at number 9, I have El Toro. This Intamin prefabricated wooden coaster is located at Six Flags Great Adventure and has some of the strongest airtime of any coaster in the world for me. Plus, one of the best first drops, in my opinion. The Rolling Thunder Hill, 10 out of 10, great ejector airtime, almost hurts a little bit because of how strong it is. So, I don't have much more to say about El Toro than I haven't already said, and it comes in at number 9. Alright, coming in at number 8 is a coaster I've talked about extensively on my channel before, and that's Diamondback down at Kings Island. If you want more info on this coaster from me, I would highly recommend watching my ranking the Kings Island coasters, as it did come in at number 1. And yeah, it's my second favorite B&M Hyper, should I say, but it is the favorite coaster, one of my favorite coasters in the state. So it comes in at number 8. Alright, coming in at number 7, I have Wildcat's Revenge over at Hershey Park. This, honestly, it's more of a ground-up RMC than a conversion. I know they did use a little bit of the wood from Wildcat, but a lot of stuff was added onto this coaster, but that is besides the point. This coaster has great airtime and really unique elements. It has a couple really unique stalls and inversions that you don't really see on a ton of other RMCs. And in general, this thing runs great and is just has some of the best operations I've ever seen on any RMC. So all of that combined has it as my third favorite RMC. So it comes in at number 7. Alright, from one RMC to another, coming in at number 6, I have Twisted Timbers over at King's Dominion. Now, for whatever reason, the lap bars on Twisted Timbers hurt my thighs really badly, but besides that, this is probably one of the best layouts RMC has ever done. It's super low to the ground and just tight, but it does that well, and it packs in a ton of airtime and whippy inversions into the little layout that they built off of Hurler. And that's really all there is to say about it. The barrel down drop is also really cool and unique, so it comes in at number 6. Alright, finally down to the final B&M hyper on this list. At number 5, I have Nitro over at Six Flags Great Adventure. The reason that this gets a little bit of a higher placement than Diamondback is simply because I enjoy the setting a bit more. It seems a little bit more secluded than Diamondback does, and it seems to have a little bit more airtime and positive forces throughout the ride. I think it does everything that Diamondback does just a little bit better and just a little bit more scenic, and that's really the only reason for it coming in at number 5 instead of like number 8 where Diamondback is. Alright, now we have an emotional one. This one's going to be Kingda Ka from Intamin at Six Flags Great Adventure, coming in at the number 4 spot. And this is accelerator. I talked about it on my last video about if Kingda Ka was going to get removed. If you want all the info on that, I would go watch that video, but all I'm going to say about it is 128 miles per hour, 456 feet. You guys know the rest. It's incredible. Alright, so this is a coaster I haven't talked much about since some of my first coaster videos, but coming in at number 3 is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind down at Epcot in Orlando. This Vekoma custom family launch coaster Disney ride there's nothing I can say about it without spoiling it, because I kind of vowed to not spoil this ride after riding it for the first time. So if you really want to ride this or watch a POV, I highly recommend doing that, and it comes in at number 3 simply because it's just an incredible experience overall. Alright, coming in at number 2, this is the ride that probably blew my socks off the most out of anything that I've ridden in the last few years, and that's going to be Fury 325 down at Carowinds. I rode this B&M Giga Coaster for the first time in August of this year, and my first ride, I instantly knew it was top 5 material. This thing is incredible. It has a good amount of airtime toward the end, but that first speed section coming off the drop into the treble clef is just unmatched. You're flying around this layout with amazing pacing into some really good speed elements. I really do love this layout more than some of the hyper layouts even from B&M. And yeah, the first drop is incredible. Back row and front row are both amazing on this coaster, and it comes in at number 2. Alright, coming in at number 1, I'm sure you guys already know what this is because it's been my number 1 coaster since 2018, so almost 7 years running now, and it's Steel Vengeance at Cedar Point. Yeah, this RMC conversion of Mean Streak is just incredible. I've said it so many different times on my videos, and to anyone I've met, you know this is going to probably be my favorite coaster for a very long time until they, I guess maybe Ride to Happiness could, I don't know. I haven't been to Europe yet. I'm not going to be to Europe for a while, but as of now, my number 1 coaster is Steel Vengeance. Alrighty guys, that is going to be it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoy my list, and as always, make sure to leave a like and comment down below about what your favorite coasters are and what you think I could have improved on in the video. Thank you guys as always, and I'll see you next time.